To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
What is it about Disney that makes us happy? Is it the magical whistle as your ticket is scanned at the main gate? Is it the seafaring smell of pirate water? Or is it charting a course to a land where you may never grow up? Whether it's singing a familiar song, watching a movie, or riding your favorite attraction for the 100th time, Disney undeniably has a way to warm our hearts, believe in magic, and bring joy into our lives. This is Main Gate Magic, a podcast where we break down and discuss the infectious happiness, delight, and thrill of all things Disney. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful, fun-filled, magical episode of Main Gate Magic. I'm Jason, in case you guys have been living under a rock and are watching this for the very first time. And I have my two wonderful co-hosts with me, Miss Leia and Thomas. How you guys doing today?
Great. How are you, Jason?
I'm great. Thomas, as always, you come prepared with the wonderful background based on our current guest. Yes, it's so wonderful to see the thematic presence of Miss Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in the background. So thank you.
Thank you. I had a Baymax shirt. I didn't have any Snow White shirt, but I have a Baymax shirt.
I'm not going to fault you for that. Really, it's okay. You don't get any negative points for that or anything. You definitely get points for the background. But speaking of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, we might as well go ahead and address the Katie in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcoming to the main stage once again, Miss Katie Von Till. Katie, welcome back to the show. It is so wonderful to have you here again. A round of applause, everybody. Oh, I love it. We're even doing the sign. That's great. Yes. Yeah. So happy to have you.
My old roommate is hearing impaired, so I'm really used to being around the deaf community. So I'm like, I got to do this. And if we were doing this, if we were doing this really right, we'd also be doing audio description for low vision people.
Oh yeah,
so, a friend of mine does the descriptions for like award shows and stuff like that. Like she live describes like a woman with blonde hair and glasses speaks, stuff like that. So, just so you know, a woman with blonde hair and glasses is speaking.
Right. Before we get into everything, I while the video was running in the beginning, I have to apologize to our usual Facebook viewers because unfortunately, Facebook is being a little bit of a pain in the butt right now. I wanted to say a different word, but it's a family show, and it's not streaming to Facebook, but we are still streaming to YouTube, everybody. So I do apologize. This seems to happen like more often than not lately. I'm not exactly sure the reason why, but everything is still on YouTube. So we are still hitting our target audience. And we've already got a few people watching right now. So hello to everybody who's watching right now. We'll get to you guys in just a moment. But first,
and Jason, real quick. I think my Facebook is streaming. So if they do want to make comments on Facebook, they can head over to my page and watch it live.
Awesome.
Well, they can comment. Can we live chat with people? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Actually, there is actually a new feature. So there are ways that I can put the comments on the screen, and I'm going to try that. It's in beta mode right now for StreamYard, so we'll put the comments on the screen. I typically only save them for like as people do. So, like for instance, Patricia is in the house, and she says, "Hi, everyone." She is one of our number one fans.
Hi, Patricia.
And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this young man, but Shamim is one of our newer followers and fans. Also known as the Autograph King, soon to be a special guest on our show, has just gotten tons of autographs. So,
and looks like I'll be seeing next weekend at SummerCon in Washington State.
Yes. Yeah. So Shamim says, "Hi, Katie. Thank you for signing my shirt for Joshua at MouseCon Bay Area, November 2024, which is where we met. Mm-hmm. See you at Washington State SummerCon 2025, Friday, June 20th and Saturday, June 21st. Your friend and fan, Autograph King." That sounded like an advertisement, didn't it?
It sure darn did. Thanks, Autograph King.
I know, right? Nicholas Malone is in the house, and he says, "Hello, Katie."
Hi, Nicholas.
My nephew Alex is in the house. He says,
"Hi, nephew Alex."
Wavy hand is the emoji that he did. Wavy hand. So I guess that could be like half of a applause. And Expedition Steve in the house saying, "Hi, everyone. Good to see you, Steve." All right. So it looks like the comments are showing up in the bottom right corner, at least the new ones. So if you guys have any questions, you got any comments, you want to say hi to Katie, just go ahead and drop it in. And those who are nice enough will be showcased on the main screen, just like we just did. Okay. So Katie, we had you on 4 months ago. There was some problems happening in LA with some wildfires, but you were nice enough to come on for 15 minutes to share how people could contribute and everything like that. And then after that, you had to disappear for a little while before coming back on. What you been doing since?
Yeah. So, fun fact, or I guess not fun, just fact. I was in New York for 2 months, co-chairing the negotiations for SAG-AFTRA for our national commercials contract. Wow. So I spent 2 months in New York, 4 weeks, and then a 1 week break, and then another, actually it was another close to 4 weeks, making a deal for every actor to do, great working conditions, decent pay, a working wage, a living wage, raises, cost of living, dealing with keeping our health and pensions strong by negotiating a great, strong contract, which is what we did. And then it got ratified at the end of, we had a deal mid-April, then it went to our national board, and then it went out to the membership for ratification. And it just got ratified at the end of May. Thank you so much.
And are we okay? You want to put, everybody, yeah.
Wow,
I am assuming that we are happy now. We are satisfied.
Well, look, I want to be clear. I'm never happy. I always think we're underpaid, and no, I'm not. Like life's gonna be completely frank. No, I'm not happy. But am I? Do I think we got the best deal we possibly could, given how little leverage we have in the advertising space? Because a lot of work is unfortunately being done non-union because people are undercutting union actors, and so. I just lost my train of thought. Welcome to perimenopause, everybody.
You were saying, did you get the best deal that you possibly could?
Oh, yes, we got, given the state of our economy and how the leverage that we have lost quite a bit of over the last 2 decades, we got a great deal. A great deal.
Katie, that's so honorable that you did that, like took that time in your life. Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. It's not fun. It is not fun, and I do not enjoy doing it. But I think it's important work, so I do it.
You sound like somebody. You sound like somebody that I would want on my side if it comes to bargaining for that. I mean,
exactly.
Especially seeing that you're not happy, but you got the best deal. That's a great attitude to take about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's where I was, and I couldn't come back, and obviously when the fires happened, I was evacuated, so it was a little, crazy, harrowing time, but thanks for letting me just come on that brief. I hated to just like leave you in the lurch, so I was glad that you let me just come on and say hi.
We were so grateful.
Yeah. You're the heroine of your own story. So
oh, that's so cute. Thank you.
Steve says, love Katie's shirt. Yeah, we were talking about that backstage, Steve, and how much we love the Regal Beagle. Now, our other co-hosts here, I think we're a little too young to know, but I mean, it's from Three's Company, and it's the place where Jack, Janet, and Chrissy, and then eventually Terry and all the other roommates that kind of followed suit, went to hang out. It was their local pub down in Santa Monica. Katie, do you live down in that area?
No, I live in the Hollywood Hills, but facing the valley side. Gotcha, so I live above Universal Studios.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Yeah. Turning the comments off because it's actually blocking my face. I don't want that. Comments. Okay, well then I have to put somebody else on the bottom. No, I'm just kidding.
You could replace me as I'll be the humble Joe for the night.
No. It's okay. Again, it's just in beta. Maybe when they have the opportunity to allow me to move it to a different part of the screen, then I'll put it up. But in the meantime, I will still choose the comments and put them up there. So, Katie, I get to ask you all the questions I couldn't ask you the last time. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Pack your knuckles, Jason.
I got a pen.
I know, right?
Yeah. I'm good.
Post-its. Oh my God. So my first question, and as far as I know, and I take everything for face value because this is per IMDb, but your IMDb bio, your brief bio says that you wrote it, so I can assume it's true. Okay, perfect, which is wonderful because I'm going to talk about your dad. It sounds like he's the one that kind of got you into acting and performing in theater and stuff like that. And Annie was involved in that story. You want to go ahead and shed light on that?
Yeah, well, when I was a little girl, Annie had come out, the movie, you know, and the musical and all that stuff. So, you know, I was a fan of Annie. My dad had been my brother's Little League coach for many, 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 many years. My brother's 6 years older than I am. And my dad was looking for a way to bond with me the way he bonded with my brother over Little League. And I am not athletic. Yeah, so my dad saw an audition notice for community theater near where I grew up. I grew up in San Jose, California, and it was for a theater called West Valley Light Opera, which is in Saratoga, California, that was having auditions for Annie. So my dad and I both auditioned, and we were both cast. I played Molly. My dad was in the ensemble. He played like a cabinet member and a cop and a bum and this, that, and everything else. And it really started me on the path to loving performing.
How old were you at that time? I mean, you said your brother was in Little League and he's 6 years older, but how old were you when you did your first performance?
I was 8 when we did that. When
8?
We started. Yeah, 8.
Starting them young. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And it was just amazing. But, you know, it wasn't like paid work or anything like that. It was
just for fun.
Yeah, it was just for fun to do with my dad.
That's amazing. Your dad joined you in that. I didn't expect that. Gosh, that must have been fun.
It's pretty cute.
I kind of got a little nostalgic when I read it because the way it was written reminded me of how Walt thought about the idea of Disneyland, you know, where he was at Griffith Park and he saw the carousel and he wanted a way to enjoy a park with his whole family, not just with the kids. And I saw that and I'm like, oh, that's very Disney-ish of you.
It really is.
Of him at the time.
Yeah, completely.
I love it. That's fantastic. So what happened since then? I mean, you were a fellow Bay Arean at the time. You said San Jose, right?
Yeah, I'm from San Jose. Born and raised in San Jose. My parents are still there. Mm-hmm. They rescued a tiny duck yesterday in San Jose. Born and raised there. I went to high school in Mountain View, California. And
okay. I've lived in both of those cities.
Yeah.
Me too, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy. World. I know. So what happened after that? I mean, you got the bit by the bug, obviously. And did you go to college? Did you study? Did you go to any?
Yeah, I mean, schools? I kept doing community theater all through, grade school, high school, both with my dad and just on my own. I did theater all through high school, and then I went to Michigan State University, which is where both of my parents went to university, and I studied theater and vocal music performance there. And then I moved to New York for 4 years and was based out of that city, where I actually was hired for my first Disney job, which was at Tokyo Disneyland. I know. It's the greatest. I know. It's the greatest. And this was back in the day when this was back before, like, social media and stuff. So there weren't a lot of people visiting, at least Americans and so forth, visiting Tokyo Disneyland. It was a really sort of a more secret, exciting, adventurous thing back then, because I didn't know what to expect or what was going to happen or anything really about the way life was going to be there. And it was spectacular.
What did you do?
Go ahead, Thomas.
What did you do as a cast member there? Were you in entertainment?
Yeah, I was a singer in a show called Feel the Magic. And Feel the Magic actually closed, and they knew it was going to close. They just weren't sure exactly when, but it was closed when my cast was there. We were the final cast. And when it closed, they said the new replacement show did not have a singer track in it. And there were 3 singers in Feel the Magic, and they said, hey, like, we can send you home. The show we hired you for is done. Or you can stay here for the remainder of your contract, and we'll find other stuff for you to do.
Yes, please.
And so all of us were like, we're gonna stay. We're gonna stay. Yeah. So we did. We performed for a week on the Mark Twain River Boat. We did a show for what's called the Star Festival there, the Tanabata Festival, and so we sang with like the Dixieland Jazz Band live on the boat. And we go, every time we go around, we do a new set. It was just like really awesome. And then after that, they created a show for us. It was Donald Duck's birthday at the time, and they created a show called The Wacky Bandstand, which starred Donald Duck and us 3 singers and a 16-piece live big band.
Wow.
And if you're not a singer, you don't understand how glorious it is to get to sing with that many pieces and to get to do it, 5 times a day for a few months was I mean, it doesn't happen. It's very rare unless you're, somebody who guests with like, bands or whatever. But if you're just like a regular actress, musical theater gal, it doesn't happen very often. So it was really, really awesome.
I can imagine how different it is to have like a big band behind you versus just like a backing track or something like that.
Oh, it's genius. It's fantastic.
You can feel the music.
Oh yes. And then cool. I fell in love with Snow White actually while I was working at Tokyo Disneyland. Yes, and it's just chance, but one of the other singer on my track, we were brand new there, and she said you have to go into the park and see Snow White's grotto. There's a Snow White's grotto there, just like there is at Disneyland here. It is on the opposite side of the hub, but it is, a fountain and the echoing and the wishing well. Yeah. And boy, I went over there and I had been to Disneyland a few times, as a kid and stuff, and even as a young adult, but I wasn't familiar, only a few times. I wasn't, it's a luxury still to, it's a luxury to go to Disneyland. So, I've been a few times. I wasn't familiar with Snow White's grotto. Well, wow, it was charming. It was so charming to hear the singing from the fountain and then the echoing from the wishing well.
Right.
I was like, this is bonkers. I love it so much. And so I would just sit there and enjoy it. And just
everybody's got their spot.
I just, it just would repeat, every few minutes or whatever. And I've since done that at the grotto here, where I've just gone and hung out there for a while and enjoyed it.
So for those who have just joined, and we have had a few more people join, we are speaking with Katie Von Til, who is the voice, the animated voice. Is that fair to say of Snow White? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I just have to clarify because I know there's people that have actually, when I posted, they're like, "Oh, is it the new Snow White?" I'm like, "No, it's not. It's not the new Snow White from the movie. It is the animated voice of Snow White." So what have you done Snow White for? I mean, I've seen your stuff on IMDb, and I know there's video games, there's animated shows for Disney, all for Disney, obviously. But
yes, all for Disney. Video games, animated shows. Guesting on like Sophia the First, the Lego movie, the Disney Princess Castle Quest. I know it's so good. Where they gave me books. It was so awesome. My shows around the world, right? Whether it's parks or other kind of like touring shows. So where there's like a face character lip syncing, they'd be lip syncing to me, right? Like in a parade or something. If Snow White sings a little bit or speaks a little bit, they'll be lip syncing to me. And my voice has been in, Shanghai, Japan, Disneyland Paris, like all over the, Hong Kong, everywhere. It's been pretty awesome.
So there's stuff that's like not even on IMDb because they don't credit the park stuff at all.
Correct. Right.
So that's incredible. That's the stuff that I love is the stuff from the parks.
Because then I can go there and be like parades, live shows, things like that.
Yeah, because you will go to the park and be like, "Oh, you hear that voice of Snow White? Yeah, I know her. That's Katie. Yeah, she's a friend of mine. Yeah."
What I think is so special? You literally had your own Disney princess moment because Jason and I were talking about this in one of the episodes where we were just talking Disney, and before a character has their wish or the path for their wish to come true, they sing about it or they have like this reflecting moment. And you like went to the grotto and you didn't know that you'd be her someday, but it's like you had that pivotal moment in your life. And I'm curious, how did you get the Snow White gig? Oh yeah.
They were just having auditions, right? the gal before me, Carol. Oh, that reminds me, I should go grab something to read from you from downstairs. Now that I'm thinking about it. The gal before me, Carolyn Gardner, was retiring, and so they were looking for a new voice match. And of course, we voice matched the original Adriana Caselotti, and so I just auditioned, and they were auditioning for a few voice matches at the time, and usually my, way of sort of auditioning for those things is listening, practicing over and over and over and over again, doing takes, listening to myself back. But Snow White, I listened to her once. I went into my booth, I did one take and sent that in. And then I had a callback, which went great, obviously, because I got the job. And yeah, it's just like she was like living inside me somewhere. I don't know why or how, but for some reason it was meant to be. So
that's wonderful.
Oh, love that.
Okay, I want to get to a few people in the audience who are asking some questions and wanting to say some stuff here and ask you what's what. So Shamim, the Autograph King, he says he's got a few questions. Maybe you can kind of rapid fire these off. He says, when was your first autograph request? Do you remember that? Let's start off with that one.
Just autographing anything?
I guess so. Like, when did somebody first recognize you? I guess maybe at a convention or something, and said do you remember what the first convention was?
I mean, I've been signing autographs for things since I was a kid, actually. Because,
there you go. That's yeah.
Well,
okay.
when you do musical theater, you oftentimes people will want your autograph then, and they want you to autograph their program or things like that. And so that's probably, I remember autographing things very, very young. And then as far as autographing for Snow White, I can't remember exactly the first one, because I think probably the first one was probably a batch of things might be the case, which is why I can't remember it as well.
Gotcha.
And then how did I come up with my autograph?
Yeah, we can probably go ahead and skip that. It's
actually really interesting, because my full name is Catherine. Right.
Okay.
So, my professional name technically is Catherine, but I rarely use it.
That's what he's asking then. Okay.
Yeah, I rarely use it because it's just so long and it sounds really formal, which I'm not. And so for a while I was signing my full name, and then I switched to Katie, because that's what people call me, and it's also shorter to write, because when you're signing a lot of stuff, I have to physical therapy because I wrecked my shoulder because I was going like this. So,
oh my gosh!
And then as far as how it looks, that's just my handwriting. I wish I could say I developed a cool thing, but I have terrible penmanship, so I have to really think about my penmanship, and so that's just my penmanship.
And then the third question is, if you could meet anyone living or dead, who would it be? That's a tough question.
That is a really tough question. And I don't know if I could answer it per se, because there's so many people I would want to meet.
Yeah, I agree.
And if we're talking about famous people or family people, it's a really tough question. But
yeah, I mean, I would think it's probably somebody famous, maybe somebody well known. Mine's always Walt Disney, obviously, but I also
similarly, I would love to meet Walt Disney. I also would really love to meet Judy Garland.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I'd love to meet Adriana, obviously, because she originated the voice.
Right.
And then,
Good answers. Yeah, absolutely. No wrong answers. No wrong answers.
Yeah.
And then Nicholas, I'm not sure if this is a question or more of a statement. He says, I got to meet the current voice actor of the Wicked Queen from Snow White, Suzanne Blakesley, at GalaxyCon, Animate Miami, and Plastic Empire. Do those all sound familiar?
I've not been to them, but I believe you, because I've met her as well. So, and I met her at a signing event.
Oh, neat.
So, yeah, cool.
This is like the original Wicked Queen?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Did she offer you
1937.
I know, but I don't know if there's been any other ones, and what would there be from? I mean, this has played the Wicked Queen from Snow White. I don't know which Snow White he's talking about.
Well, the match. She's the match like I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Thomas.
Right? So anytime the Wicked Queen shows up in video games, parades, live shows, talking toys, all the stuff that I would be doing, she would be doing the same for the Wicked Queen.
Gotcha.
And the hag, I guess. I assume she does the hag too.
Thomas, did you want to say?
Yeah, did Suzanne offer you an apple?
Yeah, no apple. But I'm gonna keep my eye out for the next time I see her.
Yes.
So that's a good question then. Actually, I never actually looked this up, but do you know, does the queen also play the voice of the hag? Is that the same person? Do you know?
That would be a bonus if she could. Like,
I know, right?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would assume, because I would assume originally that was the case, right? But
Yeah.
Voice acting is a whole other ball of wax. Everything is a little bit different. When I was a kid, did I, dream of being a Disney princess? Of course. Did I know I could be one? Did I know I
doesn't?
Yeah, right. Did I know I could be one that already existed? No, I had no idea.
Right.
I had no idea voice matching was a thing. No clue. Yeah.
Katie, before you did the one take and did your audition, had you ever tried to imitate Snow White before the audition came? Wow.
First time, huh?
First time.
That's serendipitous.
It kind of is. Yeah, I would think, especially when you had your moment in you said Tokyo, right? That you're like, oh my God, I fell in love with Snow White. Most people try to emulate the things that they love that much, and you didn't do it until your audition, huh?
I mean, I may have sung a little bit or whatever, but I never tried to match her or
gotcha.
Or sound like her or imitate. Everybody loves to imitate the warbly, super fast vibrato, high voice, soprano stuff. So, sure, I've been doing that since I was a kid. But as far as really thinking, do I sound like her? And can I sound like her? No, never occurred to me.
All right. I'm going to go with one more person in the audience here before I start off the trivia. Yes, there is trivia, just like almost every episode that we do. And we're sticking with multiple choice again. It worked so well on the last one. And you spoke of Donald Duck's birthday from back in the day, right? We actually had a Donald Duck on our show last week. Mr. Sam Quasman was on the show.
I know Sam. Yep.
I would think you do. Yeah.
Sam and I met on a picket line.
No kidding.
We sure darn did. We sure darn did. We met on a picket line. And he was like, blah, 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 was Donald Duck by blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Snow White. And that's how we figured it out.
His was a great show. It was a lot of fun. He was such a delight to have on this show. Okay, so Jerry Cornell, Mr. Theme Parkology himself. Yes, hopefully you met him before.
Oh, I owe you a text, Jerry, by the by. I know this.
Okay. He's creeping on you then. He says, hello, everyone. Hi, Katie. Is there a role or character that you would like to voice?
Is there a role or character I would like to voice?
Outside of Snow White, of course.
I guess one that hasn't been done yet. I'd love to, I've had, of course, guest spots on, a couple of animated shows where I've played other characters or, various other things. But I would love to, have a lead role voice that I originate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
We're manifesting it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Time to start diving into trivia. And you know what that means. Goofy, tell them what happens when you learn stuff.
You learn something new every day.
That's right. That means it's trivia time, folks.
Yay, Bill Farmer!
No, that's not Bill Farmer, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Bravo, you're
quite
so
a compliment.
talented.
It's quite a compliment. All right, first trivia question, multiple choice, folks, and anybody in the chat can answer. And if you guys wanted to guess as well, Katie, Thomas, Leia, what's the right answer? The first question is, what character from the movie only appears once at the beginning and once at the end of the film? Is it A, the huntsman, B, the prince, C, the magic mirror, or D, the queen?
I got this.
You got this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these ones aren't super difficult. If you've seen the movie even a couple of times, you should probably know what they are. Katie, you know what the answer is?
Only once at the beginning and once at the end. Oh, the prince.
So your answer is B. Alrighty.
No. Wait a minute. Yeah, the prince.
Thomas, Leia, what's your answers?
Yeah, the prince.
The prince.
The prince. All right, Nicholas is saying the prince. Expedition Steve says B, the prince. Patricia is saying B, the prince. And the answer, of course, is the prince. Yay! Congratulations, everyone. He only appears twice in the film, even though he comes to save Snow White with a kiss at the very end. He only has a very, very small role singing with her at the well in the beginning, and then, of course, the kiss at the end. So, fun little fact there. We'll go one more, and then we'll kind of get back to our list of questions because we still got a few more things to talk about here.
Okay.
But the next trivia question is, how did the magic mirror describe Snow White's hair to the evil queen? Did he say it was A, black as ebony, B, black as night, C, black as a raven, or D, black as coffee?
Sorry, I'm a coffee enthusiast.
Oh, are you? So your answer is D, black as coffee. Anybody else care to answer?
I know what it is.
I'm actually stuck on two of them, and I'm so ashamed of myself.
I'm pretty sure no.
Okay, let's see. What do we got here?
I think it's black as night.
I can't remember. Now,
as black as night, or ebony.
Can't tell
Ebony
who's
or
answering
night.
what now. Let's see. 6:34. Let's take the time. So Shamim says B, black as night.
Yeah.
Nicholas says black as ebony, which is A. Steve says B, black as night. Jerry says B, black as night.
I would have said A or C. Yeah.
Okay. Which one? You got to pick one. Go with one. We got to pick winners here.
I was going to say A. I was going to say A because I'm pretty sure ebony was in the description.
Pick a lane, Thomas. Come on. A or B? A. Okay. And Katie, you said A. You said B. Okay. All right. The answer is A, black as ebony. Very good. Very good. All right. Congratulations, everybody, for who got it right.
How bad is it that I can't remember?
Yeah, that was kind of a tough one because it's not like one of the most memorable scenes, I think, in the movie. Because what precedes that is what usually is like magic mirror on the wall.
Right.
Who is the fairest of them all? Yeah,
that's right. And then he kind of goes into his whole spiel, and that nobody really remembers that. So
I love his voice, the mirror.
Yes, indeed.
So haunting. Yeah.
So, Katie, besides Disneyland Tokyo, do you go to the park in Anaheim often?
Yes, I was just there. I was just actually there a couple of weeks ago with my parents, who are both turning 80 this year, and my aunt and uncle, who are also a little bit on the elderly side, and my cousin. And we ended up having to rent my uncle and my dad electric chairs, electric scooters, because my dad walks with 2 canes actually. And wow, that was a fun experience. If you've ever tried to herd old people and give them a motorized way to get away from you, it's tough. It's really hard, you guys. I worked so hard, and I felt like they were misbehaving, like not terribly, whatever, but I was like, oh, so sorry, role reversal. They took me, now I'm taking them, so it's like,
right,
hey,
of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was actually super, super fun, but exhausting.
So, but I have to ask, did you guys use the Disneyland scooters, or did you go outside of Disney for the scooters, like a different?
No, we used the Disneyland scooters because my aunt and uncle are vacation club members, and so we were actually staying at the villas at the Disneyland Hotel. Yeah. And turns out, I didn't know, they have like a third-party vendor that is their like official vendor, and if you're staying at the Disneyland Hotel, they will drop it off at the hotel, and you get to just keep it.
Wow.
So, so like we were there for several days and nights, and so we'd get back from the park at like 11 or whatever, and I'd be like, okay, everybody go to bed, and then I'm just gonna take the chair out and tool around the property. It was so great.
It is a great property. I mean, inside and out, and it's right by downtown Disney, so you can just like kind of tour around and just
tooling around at night, by myself when it wasn't crowded anymore, enjoying it very much. I was like, these are great, but of course saying that when I don't have to use it. So, I might think differently about them if it were necessary.
So quick question here. Let's just say, for the sake of sakes, you're going to Disneyland tomorrow, right? let's just say you're going to Disneyland tomorrow. You get through the main gates, and I mean Disneyland, not California Adventures.
Yeah.
You get to the gates. What's your first attraction you head to?
Oh, I go to the grotto.
You go to the Snow White's grotto. It's the first place you visit every time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I love that. Okay. I mean, of course.
Yeah. But if you're asking me like what my favorite rides are.
Well, I said attraction. I did say attraction.
You did say attraction.
So, I mean, that is definitely an attraction. I mean, some might call it a photo spot. Some might call it an attraction. But, I mean, it's got history in there. I mean, even the statues are done with in different scale because, of course, perspective, that makes it look, Snow White look taller than the dwarves. But I think they're actually all the same size, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's right.
So,
yes,
fun fact there, folks.
I read that same trivia. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Katie, you should take people by surprise, and when they come by the grotto and you're there, you should just start Snow Whiting. They'll just be like,
never break the magic, never ever. So
I like that.
I mean, I think about it whenever I'm there. I'm like, oh, if only they knew.
Yeah.
Shameen would like to know: are you going to be at MouseCon Bay Area in November of this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool. I am hoping to be there again soon, but I am also in the plans of moving to out of state, actually. So I may not be able to attend. We'll have to see. So yeah, Jason Braden, Main Gate Magic voice actor, coming soon to a con near you in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe here in MouseCon area.
Maybe potential for a MouseCon area. Maybe maybe I can get Steve to say like, hey, you want to do one in San Antonio? I'll set it up for you or something.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the trade. It's already 6:40. See, we're breezing through all this stuff. It's crazy how time flies. All right, so this one is actually kind of a two-parter. There is a question, and then we'll get to the answer, and then there will be a bonus question based on that answer after the fact. All right. So the question is, which of the 7 dwarfs locks the door to the diamond vault?
These are brutal.
Is it A, Doc? Is it B, Sneezy? C, Grumpy? Or is it D, Dopey? Guys, put your answers in the chat. Let me know what you think. Doc, Sneezy, Grumpy, or Dopey? A, B, C, or D? Put your answers in there. Anybody on screen here have an idea what the answer is? Yeah? What do you guess?
I have a guess.
Go for it.
I think it's Dopey just because he's like always last. So
Okay.
if he last out the door, wouldn't he lock it? I don't know.
It's a good answer. Yeah.
That's a really good answer.
I was going to say Dopey or Dopey. Yeah.
Okay, so Katie says Dopey. Thomas, you say Dopey. What about you, Leia? You want to take a guess?
I'm going to stick with what I thought, Grumpy, because he's like the most paranoid. So
Grumpy.
So he'd want to lock the diamond.
We love Grumpy, though. We love Grumpy.
He's my favorite because he has the biggest heart. He just needs melting.
He does. And, well, Snow White melts it for him. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. All
right, so here's the answers from the audience. We got Steve saying it's D. We got Jerry Cornell saying it's D. This is along the Dopey lines as well. Nicholas says Dopey. Shameen, that's not an answer. Excuse me. Alex, or actually that is my sister-in-law, Leanne, instead of Alex. So hi, Leanne. Sorry, I did see that earlier. Shamim does say D, Dopey, and said it again, actually. So the answer for all those who are asking, Leia, I am so sorry. You're the only one that didn't get it right, but the answer is D, Dopey. And Katie, brilliant, because he is actually the last one that leaves the mine, and he's the last one that kind of like sweeps up all the gems that are on the floor and throws them into the vault, and then he walks away, and he's like, oh, shoot, I forgot to lock it. So he locks it with the key. Right. I
have to say I'm really anal and paranoid when the dwarves are in Paint the Night Parade, because I'm super glad that they got the order of the dwarves marching right. Like it's exactly like
what's it?
They do it right in the parade. Wow, that's funny.
You're like, I'm a purist. I have to have them in the right order.
Right. Yeah.
Or I'm leaving the parks and writing complaints.
Well, I would say that's like a little OCD there too, Thomas. I mean, not that you really have any control over it, but
I have no control, but I like it when they get it right. Yes.
So here's the bonus question, folks, based on the answer. So Where did Dopey place the key to the vault?
Well, you take answers for this. I'm going to grab something that I want to show you.
Go for it.
Please do.
Go for it.
I'm running.
She's running. She ran so fast her chair spun, everybody.
I'm guessing
Thomas,
he
Leia,
places
what do you
it on
think?
his person
He places it on his person. Okay.
somewhere.
I think it's like on a hook by the door, but I might be wrong. So
Okay. Expedition Steve says, shoe? Ouch, that would hurt. Because after he locks the door, they go back to their house, and that's where they meet Snow White for the very first time. That'd be a long walk with that.
Yeah.
Jerry says in his sleeve. That's a good answer too, actually. Yeah, but I'm going to say sleeve is incorrect. Shoe is incorrect. Nicholas is close, actually. He says on the doorknob. That's actually the closest answer we've got so far. Katie, did you want to have a stab at the answer? Where does he place the key to the vault?
On like a hook.
yeah,
And actually, yeah, Thomas, I think you said that, right?
like a hook by the door. But
Yeah,
It's
like a
right
hook.
on the outside of the door.
Yeah.
So yeah, the answer that I wrote down basically is on a
You get
wooden
right
peg
back in.
right
Yeah.
outside the vault door. So yeah, way to go, Dopey. Yeah, because nobody's gonna get in now.
That is funny.
Yeah. All right, what'd you bring back? Oh, that's
So
pretty.
when I took the role, I got my very first session. A note was delivered to me.
Okay.
And the note was from Carolyn Gardner, the
Aw.
gal who was the voice before me.
Oh,
And-
wow.
I mean, I cried because, these types of things can be really hard when you get something like this, lose something like this, retire from something like this. I think she was just retiring because she actually, I believe, still writes for the parks, writes shows and whatnot, but she was retiring from being the voice actor. And, I didn't know how she felt about it. And, you just sort of never know. This business can be really, really tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
But she wrote, Katie, a little bird told me that you were Snow White. What else could that bring but a cheerful welcome? Don't forget to whistle while you work. Love, Carolyn Gardner. And
Oh.
then she sent a whole little note detailing sort of a little bit of the history of the role. So I don't know if you want me to say some of that stuff, read it to you, or no, or what? How you feeling?
We got time.
All right.
Spotlight's on you. Go for it.
So she says, I wanted to welcome you to your new role in the legacy of the fairest of them all. I hope you enjoy the honor of performing the voice of Snow White as much as I have. Every princess deserves a coronation, and although we haven't met, it seems a lovely opportunity for me to pass the crown to you through a personal note. So this makes me cry again.
You got it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I've worked for Disney Entertainment for 33 years as a performer and a writer. During that time, I had the honor of meeting Adriana Caselotti, a true original, when she was filming a retrospective at Disneyland on her famous Disney role. It was a wonderful surprise to meet her. Upon hearing my voice, she gasped and exclaimed, you do sound like me. She then invited me to echo back as she sang, I'm wishing. What a joy. Before we parted, she gave me a small picture of herself posing as Snow White, which she signed, to Carolyn, have a Snow White life. She says, a few years later, I was invited to audition for the role of Snow White sound-alike. And while I wasn't cast at the time, I was told I was among the final 3 candidates. I won't mention who they are. A while after that, a friend suggested a voiceover class to me. And when I enrolled, I discovered the class was taught by Mary Kay Bergman. And Mary Kay Bergman was the voice of Snow White after Adriana. So Carolyn met Adriana at the park, sang with her, and then she took voiceover class from Mary Kay, who is also deceased at this point. But it's really interesting how, these things are all connected. And so she said, I just want to read a little bit more to you.
Please.
I never once dreamed that I'd be asked to audition for Snow White's voice in my life, but I was. And when they told me I'd been chosen, I took the role knowing that I would be paying tribute to both sweet ladies.
Oh.
It's a great honor to serve in succession to Adriana and Mary Kay. It was also an honor to know that through my performances, little girls and families would continue to love and cherish Snow White's sweet and cheerful nature. I was delighted to carry forth Snow's legacy for over a decade. She wished me happy moments behind the microphone. And she says, perhaps you'll see my name connected to a Disney script that you perform in the future, since I continue to create shows and parades as a senior writer for Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. And someday I hope we'll have the chance to meet at the Burbank building or at the happiest place on earth. Until then, keep a smile and a song in your heart.
That is beautiful. I'm going to call that the main gate magic moment of the show today. What
a class.
Forget an Oscar, forget an Emmy, forget any of the statues you can get. That is worth more than anything in life. Those kind of words are just, it's what you do this for.
So when we evacuated from the fire, I grabbed 2 things off the wall. And one was that.
Smart. Are you willing to share what the other thing was?
It was a picture of my boyfriend's, a portrait of my boyfriend's mother who is deceased.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Wow.
I also tried to get in a little piece of art that my dad bought at the Folsom Prisoners Art Fair in 1969.
Was Johnny
But I
Cash
ran
on
out of
it?
room in the car, so that got left. Snow White kept priority over that, so that's all I took. I took that, my cat, some clothes, and I left.
Was it a portrait of Johnny Cash by any chance?
I wish. No.
Well, thank
Katie,
you for
there's
sharing
something-
that with us.
Yeah.
There's something so living about that. Like it just like came so alive. Like Adriana was the first Disney princess from the 30s, and like that it's just like I can feel it. It's like so what an honor. Like
to feel like I feel connected to these women that I've never met. It feels like a direct it's kind of hard to explain how it feels and how it felt getting that, because it made it so much more personal to me than just like booking a role. The idea that these women came before me and this like passing of the crown, it feels just so like, I don't know, togetherness and love, and I don't know.
You're like one. There was
this
video.
But there's a piece of them. There's a piece of them with you.
Yeah. Too much for your heart to handle sometimes, though. I can tell.
I can't even quite.
You want a minute?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, you're a pro. You can do it. Pull it together.
No, tears are the best.
All right. We've got a few
I wanted
more.
to say real quick. I'm sorry, Jason.
No, go ahead. It's okay.
15 years ago, I was on YouTube and I was just obsessed with watching Disney stuff. And she was still alive, Adriana. That's her name. And she was, the video was brand new. So I don't know about the time frame. It was about 15-ish years ago. And she was sitting at a piano. She was in her 80s, almost 90s or something. And she was still singing I'm Wishing. And she said, I've never tired of singing these songs. And I got so emotional watching it. And she talked about how she wasn't the original voice. And she walked in as like a 16-year-old girl, and Walt was just captivated with her. And like, she just was a true embodiment of a princess. To her, like, she was still a princess at 80s.
To her credit, right? And she used to be listed in the white pages here in Los Angeles. You used to be able to look up Snow White, because I've met many people who've told me this story, so I know it's fact. Multiple people have said it to me now. She used to be in the white pages under Snow White, and you could call her, and she would answer the phone as Snow White.
There's a Snow White hotline.
Wow.
Oh my God, that is
crazy.
So cool.
I love it so much.
That
Talk
is
about
another
a class
amazing
act.
fun fact. Yeah,
That's
I know.
amazing.
I mean, I pride myself on a lot of my Disney knowledge. I mean, I'm definitely not as knowledgeable as some of my other friends are, Josh. But that I love learning about new stuff like that every time, and I never heard of that like ever.
Yeah, listed in the white pages.
God, it's too bad they don't exist
there's
anymore.
a casting director. I could reach out and see if he could tell me a little bit more about it. But yeah, multiple people have told me that when she was alive, they'd call her.
There's got to be some kind of Google article out there.
There must be.
About
There
that.
absolutely must be. Yeah.
Maybe even a photograph of somebody who took the picture or something like that. Who knows? I've still got a few more trivia questions. We don't have to finish them all, but before we continue that, I wanted to ask Leia and Thomas, did you guys have any questions that you wanted to ask Katie directly before I do that?
Ooh, I'll let you go first,
Anything.
Do you have a favorite dwarf?
Oh, yes, of course I do. It's Grumpy. It's
Yes.
Grumpy.
We all love Grumpy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people say Dopey, but yeah, it's just you.
Oh,
he's,
no.
he's like
Grumpy.
that sour puss that you just
Grumpy.
like hate to love almost.
I love him so much.
Yeah, I see more T-shirts with Grumpy on it than I do Dopey.
Yeah, I have that shirt that I'm grumpy, deal with it.
Yes.
I got that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I do have a question too. And this is kind of a unique one. Since your dad was the first one that introduced you to like the acting world and the passion of it, have you ever just taken out your microphone and done like a little voiceover with him? Like done an acting segment? I think that'd be so sweet.
Not exactly like you're saying, but you know how so because of the pandemic, so much of auditioning for on-camera stuff is at home now. It's self-tape.
Yeah.
Leo always has been, at least for the last, since like 2007, 8 or so, has been mostly at home. But it did self-tapes for on-camera stuff didn't really happen until the pandemic. And I have had my dad be my reader when I'm auditioning for like a
Oh, I love it.
It's so cool. I love
It's so
that.
cute. So I mean, the last thing that I had him read for me, it was like a Nickelodeon show, so we also got to be a little over the top, which is super fun for a dad. He got to read with me for that. But my brother's also a performer. He is a heavy metal musician and singer and poet and folk singer and you name it. And my dad had been a folk singer when he was in high school and college. So we have always sort of performed a little bit as a family. When I'm home, there tends to be some, my dad will be playing guitar and we'll sing along. And, it sounds like the Von Trapps, the Von Tills, right?
I love that.
Yeah. So I grew up in a household that had, very much always was about singing together and just joking around together and so forth. So, yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I do have one final question for you. And I'm only asking because I have not seen it yet. And I know it's been, it's gotten a lot of mixed reviews and stuff like that. But have you seen the Snow White movie, the new one?
I have actually not seen it. But the only reason I haven't seen it is because I was in New York when it came out and for 2 months. And since I've gotten back, I had to deal with a whole month long of ratification and then my parents coming. And then I had to go out of town with my parents after Disneyland. I had to go out of town with them to a wedding. So I've literally just got back a week ago, essentially. Like I've just got back to my life a week ago.
So recent. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I will watch it and I'm excited to see it.
So will I. Yeah. I will watch it too, because it's a classic. It's a remake and I've seen great reviews. I've seen poor reviews, but unfortunately the poor reviews are around, the main actress and everything, which I have a completely different opinion about. I think it's crazy the way people do that kind of thing, but that's for a different show. But I was just waiting for streaming, basically. Disney, when it gets to Disney Plus, one of the first things that I will watch.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be seeing it right away when it comes out. And I have to just say this, like, just because the story isn't told exactly the way you want it doesn't mean it still isn't a great way of telling a story. It's like that's what's great about storytelling is we all have different perspectives. We all have different ways of telling often the same story. Like I think it's really exciting. I'm excited to see a different actress portray the role. I'm excited to see Gal Gadot play the evil
as the
queen.
evil queen. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm excited to see that stuff. And we'll see what I think of the project as a whole, but I'm always excited to see retellings.
Will you post a short review on your social media after you watch it?
No.
Come on.
I don't review things. I have
Inquiring minds went on. Well, maybe just a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
I'm happy to tell people what I think about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying a Siskel and Ebert review here. I'm just saying I really liked it. It was okay. It was good. Something like that. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Cool. Let me go through a couple. We're going to try to zip line these really quickly because I got a few more. Are you okay? Are you still got a couple more minutes?
I have tons of time.
You have tons of time. Lovely. Because I don't mind going over the hour on occasion, and I think the occasion suits it at this point. We've got.
I'm not in a rush.
And the trivia is always so much fun. I had a lot of fun writing these ones today. So, all right. The next question is a little dark. The evil queen wanted Snow White dead. This was a fact, right? What body part of Snow White's did the evil queen want returned to her? She sent the huntsman out to get her, right? But he didn't quite do it. Yeah, exactly. So was it A, her head, B, her hair, C, her hand, or D, her heart? Now, there are still some people in the chat, so you guys give your answers. Which one do you think it is? Her head, hair, hand, or heart? I have no idea how these all ended up with the same first letter from the answers.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it worked out. But what do you guys think? Thomas, I'm going to start with you this time.
D.
D, her heart. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Leia?
Yeah, that was a heart. Yep.
Yep. And Katie?
Her heart.
Her heart. And we've got, let's see, Steve saying D, Patricia saying D. You're seeing the trend here. Leanne, I'm sorry, it's not A. It is actually correct based on what Nicholas said. And of course, also back over here, the answer is D, her heart. So, yeah, she was...
How bonkers is that?
It's just...
it's
evil.
Gory.
It's evil, it's gory, and it like there is a lot of darkness in that movie.
Oh,
there is a lot of darkness.
Brothers Grimm, right?
Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah, it is not a story for children.
Not really.
Yeah.
No, and I'm assuming also the reason why they changed it from Snow White's scary adventure. Oh, there's Alexa.
Yeah. Although I just had to unplug her. I was like,
it's okay. It's okay. No problem.
I've changed her name, her wake word though at my house. I call her computer. Because a friend of mine, she has one and she called her computer. And I was like, wait a second. Are you on the holodeck? Like what's happening?
I know.
I want to call mine computer.
I know.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, I use the word computer so often because I work on a computer for, at home. So it's like if I mention that to somebody, oh yeah, my computer. And I'm like, no, shut up.
Now, my boyfriend's in his office. We had to change the wake word to Ziggy because he's in IT. So he says computer way too often.
Ziggy's
but in the rest of the house, it's computer.
Okay.
Computer.
So I have to ask you, do you know, I don't know for a fact, but do you have an idea of maybe where that reference Ziggy is from? Did you ever used to watch the show Quantum Leap?
Oh, sure.
You remember the computer's name?
Yeah. Oh, is that Ziggy?
The one that Al's always like, banging the device in his hand. That's Ziggy. I think that's the reason why they did it. Yeah. So
I love that.
Nice little outside of Disney fun fact. All right. So bonus question from the last one. What kind of heart does the huntsman return to the queen instead of Snow White's?
I got it.
It's not her heart, but what kind of heart is it? Let's put your answers in the chat. There's only, I guess a few things I guess it could be while he's out in the woods. He's a huntsman. Answers? Oh my God, Steve, that's so dark. He says Bambi's.
Oh. You are fired, Steve. You are fired.
You're no longer my friend.
Turning in his grave.
Let's see. Jerry says it's I think it's spelled incorrectly, but he says a boar. I think it's BOAR is what he meant. So that's a pig. Yeah. So anybody else want to guess? Anybody on screen, off screen before I get
I thought it was a pig.
It's a wild boar. Yeah.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. As a wild boar is the answer. That is for sure. Yeah. So he couldn't do it. So he sets Snow White free, and then she goes into the scary woods, and he brings the queen back a boar's heart instead. But I forget why she doesn't believe him afterwards. Does she ask the mirror? Is he the one that tells? Yeah.
Yeah.
The mirror tattles.
It's the heart of a pig that you hold in your hand.
Shut up, Thomas. You remember the line? Look at that. I know. He came with guns ablazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So next one. After Snow White finds the home of the 7 dwarves, what is the first thing she does? Is it A, bakes a pie, which she does do? B, cleans, which she does do? C, takes a nap, which she does do? Or D, throws a party, which she kind of does? But what's the first thing that she does when she walks into the house of the 7 dwarfs?
I know.
Let's see. Steve says B. That's the only one we got so far. Okay, guys, give me your guesses. You don't have to wait. You can say which one.
Oh, it's B. My favorite activity, cleaning.
Okay.
B.
Your favorite activity, B, cleaning.
I love cleaning.
Jerry says B, cleaning. Leanne says A. Any other guesses before we reveal the answer?
Yeah, B.
B. It is B. She cleans. Figures. She walks into the house of a bunch of bachelors. She sees filth, and she's like, oh, hell no.
She's like, I cannot stay here like this.
I mean, I know it's not my place, but this ain't happening, folks.
This is a crime.
And I think the dwarves even complain, like, hey, even Grumpy's like, hey, somebody's cleaned. Yeah, you're welcome.
Where's my dust?
Right. All righty. Next one has a this. I think this is my last question, actually. But it also has a fun fact at the very end of it. So, last question of the show: which of the 7 dwarfs does Snow White bake a pie for? Is it A, Dopey, B, Bashful, C, Grumpy, or D, Sneezy? Dopey, Bashful, Grumpy, or Sneezy? Let's see your final answers on this. Katie, what's your answer?
Grumpy.
You think it's Grumpy. You're going to go with C. Okay. Thomas, you're agreeing?
C.
And Leia?
Absolutely grumpy. I can see it in my head, the cursive with the
Shamim says C. Grumpy. Jerry says C. We're not even going to wait for the rest of the answers, folks. It is, of course, C. Grumpy. And Leia, you called it exactly, because she takes the remaining dough that she slices off the edge of the pie, and she writes in cursive Grumpy on the top of it. Okay, now, fun fact, which not everybody may have known, and I think I knew this before I read it, but it was kind of a refresher. But it was a gooseberry pie, okay? Mm-hmm. In a cut scene from the original film, Grumpy argues with the other dwarves about allowing Snow White to stay. He didn't want to do it, right? But they kind of went back and forth, and I think he even had like a little bit of a scuffle with Doc, but Snow White agreed to bake a pie. So Grumpy said, all right, but only until after the pie is baked, and then she's got to go. So that was a cut scene, though it never made the final the final film. But it is I checked it on several sources, and it is something that used to be in there. I kind of would have liked to see that, though. The film's only an hour and a half long, so I'm like, I wonder why they cut it. I don't.
Yeah, there are several dwarf cut scenes that you can see that are on YouTube.
I've seen some of the washing of the hands scene, that one where there's another song.
A different one?
Music in Your Soup. Yeah.
Oh,
that's right. And you know what, Thomas, now that you say that, I think we talked about that on the last episode when Katie was on, and we just had fun facts about the film and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did your homework.
Happy is my favorite dwarf, and he leads that song, so I'm super sad that they cut it. But it's okay.
So Katie, we got your
Happy's your favorite dwarf. That's so cute.
Yeah,
and that's where I was gonna go. So Katie, you said Grumpy's your favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Thomas, Happy's yours. Leia, do you have a favorite dwarf?
Oh, absolutely, Grumpy.
Grumpy's your favorite.
Because he has
I think Grumpy's definitely first, but just because of how mindless and carefree he is, I gotta go with Dopey as well. He's like a tie. He's like a tie. Because he's just so carefree and happy all the even though he's not happy, he's dopey. But he doesn't have a care in the world, and he just kind of flies by the seat of his pants, and I love that style. He's got good style.
Very optimistic.
All right? Exactly. Yeah. Now you put Grumpy and Dopey together, that's probably me. If Grumpy and Dopey had a baby, that'd be me. I'd be like the baby of Grumpy and Dopey. Let's see. Oh, okay. Actually, good final question. We'll finish on this one because we do have to stop at some point. Jerry wants to know, and I'll start with Katie. We'll go around house again because that was fun. The last one we just did. Which dwarf best describes you? Because I just described me, right? I know we said what our favorite one is, but does that necessarily describe what dwarf suits your personality the best?
I'm probably Doc.
You're Doc?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Well, I think of myself as real smart.
No, own it.
You took a while to answer that. Was that difficult to say?
I think of myself as really smart, which doesn't necessarily I am, right?
Okay, no, in
And,
your mind you are. At
Yeah,
least.
and I like to be in charge, and I think of myself as smart. So
Are you analytical and do you think things out a
big
lot?
time.
That's
Do I what?
Doc. I said, are you analytical? Do you think things out a lot? I mean,
Oh, yes.
that's Doc, right?
I mean, 100%. I am
There you go.
that. I am
Yeah.
very cerebral to a fault.
Then you're Doc. That's perfect.
Katie,
Leia.
that's what led in you going to New York and being a part of that. I mean, that shows your
Right.
Doc energy.
That's your Doc. Yep.
Yeah.
Leia, which one describes you best?
I would say to my core, I'm quite bubbly. Like I say what?
She said them all.
Happy, grumpy, dopey, bashful Doc. Which one?
Right.
Yeah.
All of them. All
And
together.
the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes. To my core, I am pretty kind of bubbly natured, so I would say dopey. Like I am very silly hearted. Yeah, I love being serious and thinking, but yeah, I love flowers and sunshine and stuff.
All right. Thomas.
I'm a cross between Doc because I do like to lead things, but I feel like I'm also a reluctant leader. So like when he stutters, I feel like that's me trying to lead people like Grumpy and getting attitude, obviously. And then like sometimes I'm like bashful. Like if I get too much attitude, I'm like, okay, going into my shell like bashful.
Great answers, you guys. Great answers. I love it. I've already given my dopey, grumpy answer. Yeah, but I mean, I think there's a lot of those in all of us, really. I mean, because we all have our moments of grumpy. We have our moments of happy, and I definitely have my sneezy moments, especially in the morning before I've had my coffee. Not just grumpy, it's sneezy too. I have my morning sneezes. Got to go through those.
That's so funny. Morning sneezes.
I know, but it's so weird. Like my entire life, there's like about 2 or 3 sneezes that have to come out in the morning, and then for the rest of the day, I'm good.
That's bananas. I never heard of that.
Yep. I know. Another fun fact about me. Bashful. I don't think I'm bashful anymore. I used to be. Now, me, like maybe 30 years ago, definitely bashful. I was nervous to talk to people. I could not introduce myself to save my life. I was timid. I was shy. I was definitely like what Thomas says. I wanted to retreat into my shell a lot. I just didn't want to meet anybody. But that was a long, long time ago in a different time, a different galaxy, a different planet, whatever you want to call it. So
that was me too, actually, when I was a kid.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, extremely shy. I still am. I still have quite a bit of social anxiety, actually, which seems strange given what I do.
In what situations? Like every time that you go out? Because I've actually heard, I mean, even me to a certain extent, I hang out with Andrew Nelson and, I meet a lot of his fans and we talk about Adventurous Ideas, our company and everything. And even when they start asking me like, well, what do you do? Do you work with Star Wars? I'm like, no, not at all. I just work with Adventurous Ideas, associate producer, voice actor, etc. I still get like that weird, like sweaty, nervous thing, like talking about me.
Yeah, talking about myself is harder than like, for example, the activism, doing like the union leadership and stuff like that. That's easier for some reason.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's so odd. When it comes to ourselves, we are more introverted, but when it comes to talking about other things that we believe in outside of ourselves, it's easier. Like my job, I could do with my eyes closed in my sleep, hanging upside down from, the rooftop. It wouldn't matter because it's like I've been doing it for 30 years and I know it. I'm good at it. But when it comes to me, there's always that little bit of uncertainty that
it's vulnerable. It's like your inner self, your inner ego.
Yeah.
Very true.
Jerry says, I can be a bit shy. I hate to be in front of a camera. I would rather be behind it. Yeah. He says that every time that ask him to be on the show. He's been on the show twice already, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so shy. I don't know what to say, and I don't know what to say to this." He has done so many interviews with so many people, about as many of that, maybe probably more than I've done on this show in the last year and a half, and he does amazing every single time. So
Yes, he does.
yeah.
Jerry,
So,
you're not shy.
No, he really is not. He will say he's shy all the time, but he, like, as soon as the microphone is in front of him at one of our panels, he's like, "Oh yeah, so about this and that, this is what our show is, and this is what it's doing," and blah blah blah. Yeah. It's just a thing that he says. All right. So speaking of things that we say and do, Katie, where are you going to be next? Where can people find you? Where can they come see you, get an autograph, meet your wonderful
The best way to sort of keep tabs on me and what I'm doing is to follow me on Instagram at Katie Von Till. And as was mentioned earlier, I'm going to be at SummerCon in the Washington State all next weekend. And what's going to be really fun about it is it's going to be my first con, where I am there with my best guy pal, who is actually the person who got me with CelebWorks to get me to start going to all of these things. So we're going to be at our first event together, which is so exciting.
So you're going to be sitting there at the table with you?
No, because he's on Has Been Hotel. I don't know if you're familiar with that show. So he's not a Disney guy. So we won't, but I'm not that popular. I'll have some free time. I'll be able to like run over there and give him the what for. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be popular
now. Embarrassing, give him the what for. I'm excited.
But you're going to be popular now because you've been on our show, and now everybody knows who you are, and everybody's going to want to go and see you because we're that huge.
Yes.
Come see me, everybody. Come see me.
Right, exactly. Come on and see me sometime. All right. Well, Katie, thank you so much again for being back on our show, for doing even that 15-minute segment a few months ago, and of course for the hour plus that we've been running now. It has been a delight. You are such a light in this world, and keep doing what you're doing. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was just lovely. I feel all aflutter. Thank you.
And I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Leah, Thomas, any parting words you want to say before we bow out here?
Any Snow White lines you can say to us?
Sure. I'm very dry mouthed right now, but.
And as you thank it, this is what I was going to say. You wear your crown beautifully.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Snow White.
Yeah. I'll just say one of my favorite lines of her, which is totally weird. I don't know why this is my favorite line, but this is my favorite line. Please don't run away. I won't hurt you. I'm awfully sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you, but you don't know what I've been through. And all because I was afraid. I'm so ashamed of the fuss I've made. Like, that's my favorite. That whole thing. That whole thing into things. That whole with the animal friends into with a smile and it's not like that is my down. It's me in my deep down. Love it.
Well, we're gonna end it right there, and everybody give a wonderful round of applause.
Thanks to you guys.
Wonderful rest of your week. Maybe we can have you on again sometime. I almost ask almost everybody again. So, and the next time it doesn't even have to be Snow White stuff. We can just talk about Disney stuff in general. Like, what's your favorite Disney movie? Like, what's your favorite attraction at the park? Because we never really actually got to that, I don't think.
So much to say.
Not attraction. Right. Next time. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening and watching another fun-filled episode of Main Gate Magic. It has been a pleasure to do this one today, and it's been a wonderful opportunity to be able to have you on the show, Katie, and have everybody ask questions and be part of our trivia. Stay tuned next week where we're going to do it all again. I think we're just going to have sort of an anything can happen day on next Tuesday. It's just going to be random Disney fun facts, random Disney trivia, and just a lot of fun like it always is. So make sure you tune in next Tuesday, 6:00 p.m. Facebook, hopefully, will be working again. And of course,
thanks,
YouTube.
Meta.
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah. I mean, I think, they kind of screwed me up a little bit, but yeah, I think that they've kind of messed up some stuff, which is why this is not working. But I digress. So also find us on TikTok and Instagram, folks. And of course, all of our podcast episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Podcast Network. I'm Jason Braden. We will see you guys next time. Stay tuned for a following message at the end of the show. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to another fun-filled episode of Main Gate Magic. We hope you enjoyed the show. It's been our pleasure bringing a little Disney magic into your life. Please remain seated while the show comes to a complete stop, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast at all times. For more information about upcoming episodes, please make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. You are now free to exit the show. Please watch your step, and be sure to tune in next week for more Main Gate Magic. Bye-bye.